everybody, welcome back to the channel. I did get some requests on techniques for knife sharpening, so that's what we're going to go through today. We're going to look at a few different options. Classic stones, different methods. Starting off with stones, there are about as many varieties as there are people in every possible combination you'd ever want. You can get everything from cheap stones like this that you can get at a hardware store for like 10 bucks. You can get your higher grade stones, water stones, anywhere from sky's the limit. I mean, there's some pretty expensive things out there, but for most people sharpening inexpensive stone, especially if you maintain it, I would recommend, if you're going to get into this, that you get a good stone, as good of stone as that you can afford, and also get a surfacing stone. As you can see, as you use it, you can see how it starts to get worn down. You're going to want as flat a surface as possible. The last video I did, we talked about keeping your edges straight as possible, that angle. Well, when you have a curved stone, you're essentially changing that angle and you're rounding off your edge. So you want to keep this surface as flat as possible. The better the stone you have, the better it's going to wear. Cheaper the stone, I mean, you can see this one here, pretty cheap. Basically, it's a manufactured stone, I believe. They just press the grit together and good to go. There is an endless variety of stones. So, assuming that you have found your angle that you like, you find the stone that you like, you're going to want to start off flat surface. Get something that you can set it on. Now again, I would recommend using water. If you like oil, use oil. I personally don't like it. I'd rather use a stone dry than use oil. I'm going to sharpen our kitchen knife because I think my wife secretly sneaks out and cuts barbed wire with these knives, because yeah, they're pretty dull. There's items that you can get that clamp to the back of the blade to help you maintain your angle. Whatever you need to find your angle. I can do it by feel. Not everybody can. It's going to take you a while to build up that skill. Just like any other trade, any other skill, it's going to take time to learn. Allow yourself a learning curve. Anything you can do. People say practice makes perfect. I don't really like the word perfect. Practice makes better is what I always say. Perfect practice makes even better. So the better you can maintain your angle during your practice, and slow, controlled, and deliberate movements, and you learn that pattern, it will get easier as time goes by. So whatever you need to find your angle that's happy, that you can duplicate over and over and over. I always start with a backstroke because I like to fold my burr up once I work my burr. I need something with a little bit better traction. See, this is exactly why you run water or oil or some kind of lubricant. Basically, everything that you're cutting is going to clog those pores and it's going to make it less abrasive. So, it's below freezing in my shop right now. I'm not going to use water, and I will not use oil on my stones. work it until I can feel a decent burr, the whole length. This is the time that you can check your consistency of your angle. And then flip it over and start on the other side. Same angle. Anything you can do to stabilize this, I recommend using your other hand as support. As you get better and better, you'll be able to maintain the angle with the one hand, and you can actually even start increasing and introduce other movements. I have a tendency to use my left hand more, but we're going back to basics. Stone down. Boils down to what I talked about in the last video. Maintain that angle as accurately as you can. And consistently as you can. I'm actually shivering a little bit, so I'm not being very stable right now. On these softer stones, I have a tendency to push harder on the way back than I do drawing towards me, mostly because I don't want to cut into the stone and affect my edge. Very inconsistent right now. So, work with your core stones, rough in your edge, get your burr to where it's very close, switch to your finer stone, same thing, and you'll eventually work that to where you're a pretty decent edge. Pretty much that's as simple as it gets with a traditional stone, whether it's man-made, whatever, oil stone, whetstone, water stone, whatever. You get what I'm saying. There is, let's say you don't want to go with the traditional stone way. There's a lot of things on the market. This one here, this kit, Lansky, I've had this for over 20 years, and I have been extremely happy with it. Basically, you have a little clamp. You clamp your blade into it. Has these little guide rods. And these are set at different angles. I think, yeah, 17, 20, 25, and 30. And you sharpen. Very consistent maintenance, maintaining very consistent to maintain, very easy to maintain the edge. Sorry, very easy to maintain the angle. And most of the kits come with several stones, from all the way from the coarse. I have a coarse diamond all the way down to, I think this is a 600 grit stone. Pretty decent, and it works very, very well. It reduces the human error in maintaining your angle. Just recently I purchased this. I don't even know how to say the name, but that's the name. Spent some time on IG and they just wore me down with advertisement after advertisement after advertisement. Here's an old knife. True Edge Ontario Knife Company. Man, it is really chilly in here. Got this from a buddy of mine. It's pretty well beat down. I mean, here we'll even starting from ground zero. This system's pretty decent. You basically clamp the blade into it. Comes with a guide rod. And again, I'm going to cut this one all the way back super fine to show you what a true sharp knife can do. But side to side. For whatever it was really cheap. Actually really impressed me on how well it works. Same thing. Then you just flip it. So let's make this happen. So this is actually pretty cool. I don't know if you can see it on video, but you see that jagged edge? That's the burr, and it's so thin I can actually move it around with my finger. We are really, really close. Illustrate another point. Hopefully the camera can pick it up. I changed the angle by that much, from that stop to there. And you can see, hopefully the camera can pick it up. I cut it in two different directions so the light would reflect off the edge differently. You can see two different angles. That tiny little change, quarter of a degree, half a degree, and you can see how it's about half the angle. Kind of a cool illustration. Alright, so we're about there. This here's a 1,000 grit stone. This here's a 1,000 grit stone. I would like to get some finer ones because actually this has been growing on me. All the knives that I make, I actually use this to set the initial edge. Works out pretty dang decent. We're almost there now. I like to end on some forward strokes, swapping sides. Just to realign that edge, finish it up. Let's see how we did. I did screw up. Whenever you use this thing, you need to make sure that you're centered on this. I was a little bit far this way. Not only did the tip flex on me a little bit, but you can also see that it's quite a bit wider up here than it is here. I don't know if that's visible on camera. And that's because I was further away from the center line, so my angle essentially got finer at the tip. Doesn't break my heart on this. This is just kind of a junk knife that I was just playing around with to show you. And it's pretty darn sharp. Shaves like a dream. Let's try this paper thing again. I was thinking about this with the axe. This is really thin paper. That was a really blunt edge. Yeah, there we go. So, anyway, not a fan of the paper thing, but why not? All the cool kids are doing it. So there's that. Really like this system. I'll include a link for both the Lansky and this Ruixin Pro, whatever it is. Been pretty happy with it. It was inexpensive. I think it was, what, 80 bucks, I think, for the whole kit. Came with 4 or 5 stones. I got the diamond upgrade kit. Very happy with the diamonds. Cheap diamond stones that I've had in the past, they just almost like the bonding agent was over the diamonds, and they didn't cut, or the abrasive was horrible. Was not very happy with them. These I've been very happy. And again, I'm shivering. I even stepped inside to warm up for a little bit. It's cold out. So, recapping a little bit. With a stone, whatever you need to maintain your angle, pick a stone, do a little bit of research on a stone that you're looking for. Whether it's a cheapie that you get from a hardware store, or you order something online, Japanese whetstone, waterstone, whatever. Get as expensive as a stone or stones that you can afford. You'll never be dissatisfied with going with a better stone. You can be dissatisfied with going with a cheap one. And don't drop them. This here was the exact same stone. Fell like 2 feet. Broke right in half. Don't drop your stone. Again, these are just guidelines. You need to get out and start playing around. Find what works for you. What works for me may not work for you. You just need to get in and get your hands dirty. Buy a stone. Find a cheap knife like this one and just practice. Practice, 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 practice. Get something that you're not worried about, that you can just, you know, if you screw it up, who cares? Go to a yard sale, spend the $2 or dig in the kitchen or whatever. Find a cheap knife and just start grinding away on it. You're not going to hurt anything, but you may gain a skill. I think that's about all I got. Just practice, practice, practice. Practice makes better. Spend the time, get awesome, sharpen your knives, and let your awesome out. Any other questions? Drop a comment. If you found this useful at all, please give a like and subscribe. I'm really cold. I'm going inside. See ya.